YouTube right here.
Right there?
Yeah, so
On
what's
YouTube.
up? And then...
And then we're going to do it Facebook and YouTube.
3, 2, 1.
And
Is she connected to the internet? Yes, we are good.
Woo.
We
Flipping
are
Fridays.
Whew.
Cool.
Seems dark.
Is it?
Seems dark.
Well, click on the fucking picture, see if it changes. So, guys, we are live here, Flipping Fridays. Today, it happens to be Chris's birthday. He was out doing something today, so we don't have our normal camera equipment. It's going to look a little bit different, but hey, fuck it. It is what it is. You guys ain't paying for this shit anyway, so we can't complain about it. Yeah, I mean, oh, shit. Yeah, so anyway, guys, we are here with our good friend Mark Warlick. He's actually been on the show before.
Hello.
But I've never had you as a guest. I think last time you walked in, right? I think we needed to sign some paperwork, or we were doing a
But
deal.
I think I did a one spot performance for you once before.
I don't remember. It could have been.
Yeah.
I remember you being on the show. I just don't remember that we ever had you specifically as a guest. We could have had you on here to talk about. Did we talk about the fire damage
fire
deal?
damage, that's
what
right.
that was? Okay, yeah. So anyway, guys, we are over here live with the AZ Flip guys. We have a good friend Mark. He's going to be talking about specifically how to create a 6-figure wholesale business with strictly networking. And I remember I met Mark probably when you first got to town. So I didn't meet you face to face, but I met you over the phone. Why the fuck am I sweating like crazy? Yeah, I met him a few years ago, and throughout the years, we've worked together in one way or the other. We've done a lot of wholesale deals, so we've done wholesale deals together. He sold me wholesale deals. We'll partner up on many different types of deals. But anyway, so we're going to have him here. If you guys have any questions about anything, please make sure to bring it on. So let me go ahead and... Why don't you tell them who you are? I'm going to start setting up here online. So
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, my name's Mark. Let's see. I've been doing real estate in one form or another for probably several decades. Let's say that. I bought my first house in Mesa in '81.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, man.
So are you from the Valley then?
No, man. I was
You
like,
just showed up in 81 and
yeah,
started
so I
taking
showed
care
up.
of business?
Yeah, well, first place, right out of college. I was 2 years old at that time. In case you're trying to do the math.
Oh, whatever. You're blessed, man. The term black don't crack can't be more accurate. Seriously. I can never guess the age, man. You guys are good.
So,
and that's why I date the black women.
There you go. There you go.
See, to make sure I didn't look like I was turning 40, I had to go.
Yeah, you had to. Dude, if I'd have done that shit, dude, the girls that I talked to would have cut me off. Like I told you guys one time I actually cut off my whole facial hair.
Uh-huh.
My girlfriend at the time walks in, she was like, and I swear to God, she was like, I can't even look at you right now. So anyway, you came into the valley.
So I've been a landlord. I flipped, and now I'm wholesaling. I have a couple degrees in engineering from college and stuff like that, and did the corporate life in marketing and sales and product management and all that, and so that's sort of the background.
So you kept coming back to real estate, though.
Yeah. And the thing I really want everybody to know is that more importantly than the 6 figures is the most important thing is to be free.
Hell yes.
It's to be free. It's not the number of zeros. It's not the number of commas. It's about being free. So you can get up and do whatever you want whenever you want to do.
That's so true. You know what, man? Because I've been a realtor. I've been a real estate agent for several years, and I always wanted to ramp up, get my 6 figures. But my first year of 6 figures, the way I was running my business, I was so busy. It was like one of the worst years of my life, personally.
Right.
I never saw my kids. I never saw my wife.
For all you guys that follow the AZ Flip guys, you hear me say this shit all the time. I would rather make $1 million passively than make $100 million and be busting my ass off and be running and like a
Right.
fucking chicken with his head cut off,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
No, thank
know.
you. Nah, not for me.
So
I'm
that's
on Wi-Fi for me.
Okay.
so that is the really, really important thing. I know a lot of people tune in because they're thinking six figures, but it's not six figures. It's all about being free, and the key is in order to.
But you, I mean, your company has made
Oh yeah,
you
yeah,
over
yeah,
six
yeah,
figures
yeah,
in the last few years, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I'm still okay with it.
Yeah, I'm not saying.
And that's the thing, guys. It's okay. So let me fuck. What do you need? My
Just
Wi-Fi
the
password?
Wi-Fi password.
Fuck. Yeah.
So unprepared.
Yeah. No, you threw me off.
But it's my birthday, so it don't matter. Hey, you want to know how it's my birthday? I went downtown today. I had an appointment that was about 2 hours,
Mhm.
and I wasn't late, but my head was scrambled. So I got up and went straight up. I didn't pay the meter. 2 hours, no ticket.
No
Oh, there you
ticket.
go.
Nice.
That's
So,
living right.
before I say what I was gonna say, we got Nate in the house. Hey, Nate, thank you for joining us. We got my girl Jen Chavez, LA. How you doing over here? She's a fellow LA girl over there. She's fucking amazing. I love Jen. I've only met her personally once, but super awesome. Oh, hey Jen, I'll respond to your message later when I get done with this shit. Ivan, thank you for joining us. I told you specifically, make sure you pay attention specifically to what I'm about to say right now, because it makes a whole lot of fucking sense and it proves the point that Mark was trying to make here just a second ago. We got Andres in the house. We got Robert Flores. Oh, shit. So before I read the comments, let me just kind of go up and what I was going to say. Mark mentioned the fact that it's not about the actual money itself. It's not about the actual amount of the money, even though we as human beings tend to focus on that, because that's what we're taught to focus on. You read all these books and they're like, make your goal, be very specific, write down a fucking number. You have to think big. It's got to scare you, and all these things that are true, but just not true in the beginning. And what really, really matters though is why. And we hear this all the time, right? It's not the how, it's the why. What's your why? Why is it that you're doing? And one of the things that I personally like, so me and Mark have been doing business for a while, but I consider him a friend. I consider him a personal friend. And one of the things that me and him connect with the most is the fact that we're both kind of fucking lazy, and we both really want to get shit done with the least amount of fucking energy. In order for you to do that, you could do what Chris did and put the goal of 100,000 and bust your ass off and completely hate it, not see your kids, not see your family. Right. Or
Right.
you can find out what your why is and start focusing on that. And I promise you, because I promise you, eventually, if you focus on your why long enough and strong enough, and you're working towards it, the six figures will come. It's only a matter of time.
Right.
And I have a mug that I have here in the house, and it says, "Proceed as if success was inevitable," and that's something that I follow.
And it actually is.
Of course,
And actually it is. You know,
if you do it right.
So yeah, so you know, and let's talk a little bit more about the being free part of it. So I like to drive BMWs. I do. That's just what I like to do. But what I learned is that you can buy a 60, 70, 80, $90,000 BMW. You can go and buy one new, or you can get one 10 years old and pay $6,000 for it. And it's the same car.
Basically,
It's the same car. So the question then becomes, do you want to have, $800 a month payments for,
No doubt.
5 or 6 years
for a freaking car.
for a car?
No.
Or do you want to go and get the model style before that has 80, 90, 100,000 miles on it and pay $6,000 for it and pay for it cash?
Well, and even if you
And
even
it's
if you want to get a newer model, just don't buy it off the fucking lot.
Yeah.
But guys, it's about the why. When you start focusing on the why, everything starts making a whole lot more sense. So when I was out there first getting started, I had, like everybody else, ambitions to make X amount of money. Eventually, I found out that my why was freedom. I want to do what I want to do, when I want to do it, however the fuck I want to do it, without having anybody tell me how that's done. And that's really where wholesaling kind of came into play for me, was that it allowed me to generate money, and it allowed me to generate nice chunks of money, so I didn't really have to do much most of the time unless I wanted to.
Right. That's exactly right. And that is
It's fucking like fucking crazy over here.
that is actually the key, is to be able to do it when you want. And
So-
then you'll find, there was a time when I was doing call center work. So out of the call center experience, I could actually hear when somebody was saying, yes, I'm going to do business with you.
Right.
Before they actually said it verbally.
Mm-hmm.
So once I developed that skill, then it just became a question of, okay, I'll go knock on a door. But then pretty soon I'm going to be able to hear their yes. And then it's just a matter of time at that point. And I don't have to worry about it or anything like that as to when, or as to how the deal is going to happen or when it's going to happen. I've already heard them say yes. They just haven't said it verbally.
Right.
So we got Chris, we got a message there for you. I believe it's from your good buddy Robert, if I'm not mistaken. While I'm trying to fix the camera, trying to get a little bit more lighting on this bee.
I'm not seeing them.
You're not seeing the comments?
I'm not seeing Robert's comment.
It was the first one that he did.
Oh,
He
man.
said something about happy birthday. You
Oh,
can read it
thanks,
on my
brother.
screen.
Thanks, my man.
Alright, let me see
Yeah,
here.
man. All my friends are turning 40 this year. It's quite the year.
Not all your friends.
Well, all my high school friends.
There you go.
There you go.
Guys, you graduated
all
from.
my high school friends.
Oh man. Dude.
Oh, man.
Yeah, oh well, whatever.
Sorry,
Jeff. We're just dealing with this stuff
that's the
right
best
now.
light that we can have.
Yeah, exactly, Jeff. Well, nothing we can do about it today.
Jeff A.
No.
Jeff
It's our buddy
Wiener.
Jeff Wiener over from where's he at? Nevada.
Nevada, yeah, freezing his ass off in Nevada.
Man, fuck that.
So,
Alright, fuck it. There you
you
go.
good?
Well, that's about as good as it's gonna get. And guys, it is what it is. So let me see. Robert here says, "Happy birthday, old man Chris. You better be careful at that Jawbreaker show. 40-year-olds at the show can be dangerous."
It's Jawbreaker. Everybody's gonna be 40, man. Hey, and by the way, I have an extra ticket for Thursday night. So if you want to hit it up, let me
Was
know.
that is that here?
LA? It's at Secret Knock. I'm gonna have to leave Secret Knock, so he might take your ticket right now.
Oh
but
shit, yeah. I
I
mean,
got Thursday, and I might get Saturday tickets too.
it depends, because depends on how good I'm working my relationships at Secret Knock.
It's gonna be tough leaving, but when a band hasn't played in 20 years, you might have to.
And we did that. Was it for Secret Knock last time where we went?
Mhm.
We were. That's what we were in San Diego for, right?
that was Screeching Weasel. That was, it was
So
you know
for
what
you,
punk rock?
for you guys that don't know what the fuck we're talking about, is punk rock, and obviously he doesn't know about it because I saw like one black guy at the fucking show, a few Mexican guys, more Mexicans not, and then believe it or like Indians, like Native Americans, they like
yeah,
that. But
yeah.
it was fucking like 90% white, for sure, for sure.
Wow,
It's a
I
fucking
did
ska. But if you've never been to a ska punk show, you owe yourself that fucking. You have to. When I went on a date yesterday with some girl and we were talking and she said, "What type of music do you like?" And I'm like, "I like this, and that." But the best shows ever is going to a heavy metal rock show.
Yeah,
there is nothing better than a heavy metal rock show. Like there is no fucking hip hop show. Jay-Z and all, they all kiss my ass, dude.
Right,
They suck.
right.
Performing compared to a heavy metal rock band just rocking out on stage.
Well, remember at this show, the band before the last band, he was the guy was all drunk, and so like one band member totally punched the other guy.
Yeah, so the bass player was drunk. And he was like, he kept on hitting the cymbals of the drum with the top of his bass. So the guitar player came and fucking like knocked him, like just punched him. And then security dragged out the bass player of the band, and then they just continued playing. They just like replaced him and continued playing.
But you know what the key though is, if it's live music, if it's a band playing, that's always a better show.
Oh yeah,
You know,
Always.
it's always. We talk about that all the time. Growing up and seeing Earth, Wind and Fire or seeing James Brown.
Yes.
Well, on stage.
Oh, that would have been a trip.
Right.
James Brown and live
I'm
shit.
telling you,
Oh, I
man,
was
it's a
in there.
whole different thing.
Well, and
It's a whole different thing.
I did one time. We went, me and my buddy Casey, and I've said this before, but we went to a Michael Jackson impersonator concert show, and this shit was bad, like awesome. So this guy gets off the stage and he starts running up and down the aisles and stuff, right? And as he's coming, me and Casey are like, "Hey, woo, ah!" like, and then he runs by, and then we look at each other like, "Did we just fucking do that? Like, what the fuck is going on?"
Not
here?
even Michael Jackson.
Right? That's not even the real thing, exactly, guys. But
the man card right there.
the point of all of this is to get out of your comfort zone, get out of your zone, get out of where you're
Right.
normally at, and kind of experience something different. So, when I first met you, you had came from LA.
Right.
And you were doing some type of phone work over there or something along those lines?
Well, you know, man, you don't want to go all the way back.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Well, yeah, well, you know.
Well,
okay,
and here's
okay.
the thing, and this is the reason why, because we got people right now watching who are probably in that same scenario.
Okay.
We have people that are watching, like our buddy Ivan, who I know that he's looking to find a way. It's like, you know, it seems like such a daunting task at this point for him to at one point be able to make six figures from wholesaling.
Okay, so I'm glad you asked. So the story is that I ended a relationship with this one lady, and was
It always starts
literally
with a fucking woman, man.
and ended up house sitting for a buddy of mine who flipped houses out there. So I literally went 7 years house sitting, which is a nice way of saying that I didn't have a home.
Yeah.
So 7 years with my son in tow, going from place to place to
Really?
place. South Central, Watts, Compton, Inglewood, gang infested places, because that's what you need to do.
Now I grew up in that area, guys, and just so you know, all this shit you heard was true.
Right. You know, I'm telling you. So literally, I'm house sitting. I don't have a job. My car died. I am like totally assed out.
Yeah.
Okay. So went through this whole thing. Ended up getting a job. Got to a point where the house sitting opportunity ended. So it's like, okay, you know, I've always wanted to come back to Phoenix. I'm coming back to Phoenix. I get back to Phoenix. I have a job in Phoenix. Actually transferred. And 6 weeks in, me and the boss didn't get along. My car blew up. My engine failed, blew up 6 weeks in, and got fired on the same day.
And guys, this goes to everything that we talk about. You might be going through this situation right now. You might got dumped by your boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife. You might be sitting in some shitty job that you hate. You might be watching a replay here. You might be like, man, there's no way that this can happen to me, but it does happen, and that's awesome. So let me see here. Let's catch up on the comments before we get out of hand. Andres Molina says, happy birthday, champ. He's talking to Chris over here.
Thanks,
I got our girl, Jen Chavez. She says, I'm amazing. I am amazing. You already fucking know this shit. Said LA's in the house. I got my buddy Robert De La O says, hola guys. Hey Robert, thank you for going over here. If you guys are in the Phoenix area, Robert does taxes. If you guys need an accountant, hit him up. Jeffrey Weiner over here, he says we need more light. Yeah, whatever. We talked about that. Sterling's in the house. Hey Sterling, check this shit out, bro. Look, can you see this?
Oh, I thought he was gonna show us his ass.
No. Did you see the shirt?
Right there.
Rinse do. Oh.
Yeah, buddy. Is that gonna work? Hopefully.
Does that help better?
I don't know. Does it? Well, oh yeah, you can see that. Yo, Sterling, what you think about that?
Yeah.
Rent stew, motherfuckers.
So everybody posts there. It's the first of the year, everybody. Rinse do.
Sterling's like, ooh, I need that. Exactly. I would be wearing the cash flow hat, but I'm sweating like a fucking whore in church right now, and I have no idea why. We got, let me see. Sterling says that's tough, and it is, and that's the thing, guys, is we all have a similar story. If you guys are interested in hearing my story, you know what? I'm going to have to repost it to the AZ Flip guys. But episode 40, I believe it was, we interviewed Corey Peterson from Big Kahuna Investments, who actually, his wife sent me this shirt. It says Cash Flow Creator in the front, Rent Stew in the back. We do multi-units and stuff with them. But anyway, we had what the fuck I was saying?
Your story.
Yes, I did the story with him. So we did an interview with him. After that, he asked me to come back the week after, and I did an interview. So my story, I'm not going to get into my story, but I will post the link on the AZ Flip guys so you guys can see the interview that Corey did with me, where I go into in depth with my story. But every single person has a story like that. And one of the things that happens, guys, is, and I say this all the time, the best way to get into real estate is wholesaling. The easiest way to get into real estate is wholesaling. The
lowest risk.
The lowest risk, exactly.
Right,
Exactly.
And a lot of times, and Mark, I don't know what your case, but I know for a fact that was my case, I got into wholesaling because I didn't have a fucking option. I didn't really have a choice. Like, I needed to wholesale. I didn't have any money to do anything else.
Right.
So I just needed to do a wholesale.
Right. And, after I moved to Phoenix, I spent about a year just going to the fix and flip meetings. Bob Gomez.
Bob Gomez group.
Yeah, I mean, I spent a year just trying to get smart.
That's what I've been fucking telling you, bro.
Yep.
Networking.
Right.
And one thing that we talked about, when I was talking to Mark and said, hey, man, I want you to come in my guest, and here's what I want you to talk about. Our main point was how to create a six-figure income from networking.
Right.
And it all came from networking. And that's one of the great things that I like about what Mark does right now and how he's built up his business is Mark is what I used to be when I was a wholesaler and when I still wholesale from time to time. Mark is a fucking professional middleman. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that, by the way. Professional middleman. And there's nothing wrong. And I built my business on being a professional middleman.
Right.
When I was wholesaling and flipping and everything else, it was you leveraging other people's whatever it is,
right.
However it is that you can help them. Let me see here. So, Casey, hey, Casey's in the house. He says, dark room, can't see your faces. Hey, Casey, if you're still on, let me know if this looks better over here. We got, let me see. Jen Chavez says, inspiration or desperation are the roads to success. And god damn, that is so right. There is a saying that we all know. It's a common saying, and it's necessity is the mother of invention. And
Especially for lazy people.
Well, for any person. How do I say this? People don't know their own strength until they're put with their backs against the wall. And I was watching a documentary one time, and it was about pirates. And it was about, like, real-life pirates and shit. And they talked about how the most successful pirate in all of pirate history was, he was a captain, whatever fuck his name. His ship had got boarded. He was like a navigator or something. He was a nerd. I mean, this guy was a fucking dork. The pirates came in, they took him. Somehow the captain that was on that ship died, and as a fucking joke, they put him as captain. What the hell? Who the hell's calling me? Oh, whatever. So as a joke, they put him as captain. This guy ended up being the most ruthless fucking guy out there, and he made the best freaking pirate captain of all history. And I forget his name. But it's fucking crazy.
Mm-hmm. It's not Captain whatever the fuck his name is.
No, not Blackbeard or anything.
Google that shit.
Yeah. So, but guys, it's really it really is that sense where you don't know what you're capable of until you're put in that scenario, and that's where that term "necessity is the mother of invention." That's where right here, Jen, desperation is the road to success, and it is because a lot of times, as human beings, we are going to take the easy way out. It's just what we do. And as much as everybody wants to complain about cell phones and technology, we all fucking use it because it makes our life easier, and that's just that. We can all claim and we can say, hey, we should go back to our roots and, start living out in the wilderness and learn how to do our own food. And we'll say that, and we might believe that, but in reality, it's easier to go fucking open my goddamn fridge. Right. It's easier to go to the store. So necessity, when you're put to those things, and that's why when you travel outside of the U.S., especially when you go to impoverished countries, you start seeing the ingenuity of these people. Because you don't have a choice. They can't go to the Home Depot to do something, so they just have to kind of make it up as they go. Let me see. Robert says, thank you, Chris. Casey says, happy birthday, Chris.
Thanks, buddy.
Let me see. Sterling says, if you guys were in Omaha, 50 degrees, no sweat, no problem. Shit. 50 degrees here and I'm freezing my nuts off.
Hey, when it's 10 whatever here, we'll be there.
Yeah, we definitely. We got Keon in the house. Hey, Keon. Says, what it do, fellas? Keon, thank you for joining us as always. Sterling, oh shit. Sterling said that he actually listened to the podcast this morning. Pure gold. Awesome. Thank you. I really appreciate it. And if you guys, like I said, we'll post it on there. If you guys are interested in doing multifamily investing, specifically investing in apartment complexes, check out episode 40 where we interview Corey Peterson. And then I'll post it today, and you guys will be able to check out the interview that he did with me. It's about an hour, and you can kind of get in depth to my story there. Tony Gonzalez says wholesaling is tough. Well, look, motherfucker, if it was easy, everybody would be doing it.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
the concept is simple.
Yeah, here's the thing. Here's the thing about it is that my approach, the way I look at things, is that I like talking to people. I really like talking to people. So when I get off the phone, when I'm leaving the door, I'm actually happy that I had the experience. So if you don't like talking to people, you should do something else.
Or,
Yeah,
or
just-
learn
or-
to talk to people.
Yeah,
You know,
because I mean, it just doesn't make, to me, it's like people should do what they like to do.
right. I got in
Yeah.
real estate because it sounded really fun. I didn't realize being a realtor, you were in sales.
Yes.
So guess what? I had to learn how to talk to people. So you can change and adapt.
Right. You can do, you can certainly do that. And yes, I'm agreeing.
But yeah,
with
you gotta like what
Yeah,
you're
like
doing.
you like what you're doing. You know,
So
and,
how
and
many-
if you don't, be honest with yourself and go do something else.
True. So you're talking about knocking doors. What are you using in today's world? What kind of strategies are you using in 2018?
You know, my business is like 98% referral. People are calling me with deals. You know, or people are calling me.
So you hustle, and then you get to a point where it flows to you,
It
right?
flows to me.
And
I
Tony, I am fucking certain that I have told you exactly what they just said. One of the multiple times you've been to my fucking house to talk, I'm sure, I shit you not, I've told you that before. You create eventually as you build your reputation. Now, did I ever? So
let's talk about
me and you started working together when we were working with John and Paul.
That is correct.
That was like the time when we started working together. Now we had talked on the phone. I think we might have done some deals here or there, but that was like the time when we started working together, right?
Right. I think I met you at a restaurant. I was coming in, you were going out, or something like that.
Something along those lines. But anyway, the reason why I bring that up is because the way that I got in with John and Paul was that I added value to them. One day we were talking, or I saw them at some event or some shit. I'm like, dude, if you got any properties that you need to sell, let me know. I got buyers. I can do whatever. They're like, yeah, I got this property. We've been trying to sell this shit for like 2 months now. I turned around and I sold that in a day. They were like, oh my God, dude, that's freaking awesome. We're going to work all our deals with you. And I was working with them back when they were still getting like hut houses and stuff.
Right. So that was before my time.
Yeah, no, it was before your time.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, though, I added the value. And guess what? After I sold that deal, I never once had to look for a deal. They were bringing me deals, at least 2-3 deals a week, saying, hey, we just locked this up, or we're about to lock this up, or hey, we think we could lock it up at this number. Do you think you might have somebody for it? So I was constantly just churning their deals, just kind of getting these things in. And there was a point, and it was funny because John calls me one time. He says, hey, man, I got a property. I'm like, yeah, I can sell that shit. I picked up the phone. The very first person I talked to, he's like, yeah, I'll buy it. The next day, John calls me back. He's like, hey, I saw the contract. Did you just sell this to Mike? And I was like, yeah, I sold it to Mike. And he's like, motherfucker, you know he was the next phone call that I was about to make? I made $7,500 in that deal, guys.
Right.
So it is about that. Let me see. Wholesaling is tough, but it's only, how do I say this? It's only tough because you make it tough. Right. It's only tough because you don't use your natural talents. You can do wholesaling if you're not a talker. You just have to find a way to do it. There's virtual wholesaling. I know people that send out letters with offers already on them, so they never even talk to the freaking sellers. There's many different ways to do it, but if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. Now, the concept is very, very simple, but it gets a little bit harder.
So here, let me give you an example. So, was it 2 weeks ago, I posted that I buy shithole properties nationwide.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no.
Oh, yeah, I love that. So
was
that the play on the president's words?
Yeah,
Is that what that was?
right.
Awesome.
I buy shithole properties nationwide. Now, first of all, this is the first time I've ever said nationwide.
Yeah.
But you know, I had a friend who said, you know what, I got a shithole property in Memphis.
Awesome.
In Memphis. Now, it wasn't a shithole property, but I'm going to get that deal.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a matter of time.
I know who'll buy it. Let's partner.
Do you really?
Yeah, let's hell yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's no difference wholesaling in Memphis as there is in Phoenix. It doesn't make a difference, you know.
So, and what it is that because of the relationship I had with this lady who we dated, but it didn't really go anyplace, but I still kept it right. Where it's like, oh, well, you know, she talked to her and, you know, he's a nice guy. Well, you know, they want to
Time out. Guys, lesson, message. Remember,
Yeah.
message. So, guys, he made a great point. A great point. This is about networking and relationships. And this business is all about relationships. So he started talking to this lady because of a romantic, physical type of relationship. That didn't really work out, whatever. He kept the relationship intact, though, at least communication-wise between that person, and then eventually that led into different opportunities, right?
Right. Exactly.
And this is what you guys need to understand. This business, specifically wholesaling, is a person business. It's a people business, and it's a relationship business.
Right.
And it's how you can help people. So sometimes you might do a deal with somebody and it doesn't go right. Instead of you losing your shit, fuck you, motherfucker, never gonna fucking talk to you again. Whatever, suck it up, move on to the next one, because you never know when you're gonna have to. So there's a person, and I'm not gonna say his name. I'm not gonna say his name at all, but I call him a necessary evil. And I dislike to a passion dealing with this person. However, I sometimes have to deal with him because there's certain type of deals that only he can get done. Right? Now, you've been able to work out a better relationship that I have with him, but nonetheless, it works out the same way. Now, he's not a super fan of me, I'm not a super fan of him, but he knows that when I call him, it's about business, and I'm not going to be shooting the shit with him. I know if he tells me yes or no. If he tells me yes, it's going to get moving, but it's all about relationships. One time I bought a deal from him. It wasn't what it said it was. I put in my earnest money. I lost $2,500. I sucked it up like a man and said, "We'll move on to the next one."
Right.
I could have bitched and complained and said, "Oh, I want my money back." Nope. I just said, "All right, man, here we go. I fucked up. Move on to the next one." And I've done quite a few deals with this guy.
Right.
We got Casey in the house. It's still really dark. Windows behind are bright. So, we'll figure it out later. However, he says still the same content. You guys rock. We got John Sabella in the house. We got Maurice. Barley in the house. We got our buddy Felix. We got Kobe in the house.
John saying he's in Vegas. He's close, man.
Yeah, that's what he said. Hey, when are you going to be in town? You didn't mention something about rolling through town. So if you're going to be rolling through town, let me know. Chris, if you're available on Sunday, I'm meeting up with some multi-unit investor somewhere in Scottsdale. He's coming in from out of town. So
let's do it. That's my last day here.
Perfect. Let's go over there. We got John. Hey, if you're gonna be rolling through town, I know you mentioned that you might be rolling through town. I didn't know if it was this weekend or next weekend, but if you are, let me know ahead of time so I can make some time there. We got a Joseph. Hey, Joseph Morando, man, how you doing? Say hi to your wife for me. Happy birthday, Chris. We got Sterling in the house again. So Sterling says, right, I always say wholesaling is easy. It's the implementation that gets people got to put in the work and want it and make it work. And wholesaling is easy, just not at first. That's how it is.
Yeah, that's very true.
And what I like is the guy, Tony, who says wholesaling is hard. Mm-hmm. That guy brings me more deals than anybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He brings deals all the time.
He's killing it.
And I don't know how the fuck you sell that crap that you're selling over there, Tony, because I ain't buying none of your shit. But you're selling it, so it's obviously not that hard.
Right.
And we live in a world where we attract what we put out. Right. And that, in addition to me and Mark not liking to exert ourselves that much, one of the things that we also connect a lot with is we're very in tune with what we like to call